Hi everyone, I'm going to take a few minutes here in this video to go over next week's assignments with you and go into a little more detail. So I'm going over to Moodle, but as promised in my previous email, I'm really going to work to minimize the number of assignments. There's a lot going on in everybody's lives right now. So greatly reduce that. So for next week, there's several readings, but what you will do, you'll have the quiz over the readings here, and then you're going to actually write a policy letter. So those are just the two items. And then also want to remind you of your personal branding project that's due the following week on April 15th. So this also will give you some time to finalize that and be working on that assignment. So with that, advocacy, policy, and really educating and influencing our policymakers and legislators is really important. And a really good example that's in the current news right now is this video here that I would like you to see. It's very, I think it's 5 minutes. Katie Porter is a senator, and it just demonstrates how an educated and informed senator got the CDC director to commit to free coronavirus testing. So this was prior to when the free testing and required people to pay and use insurance. So this was really an important change that was made in terms of providing access to everyone and getting appropriate testing for the current crisis. So that's what policy and advocacy is really all about. Particularly advocacy is educating policymakers, legislators, anybody that has that role in making a decision about what's going on. And oftentimes we can do this by writing letters. And so that's going to be where the assignment comes in. And I'll go over that here shortly. But in your reading here on this one, for example, the 10 great public health achievements, a lot of those can be attributed to laws. So fluoridation of water, smoking and tobacco use, and vaccination. So public health achievements really are very much influenced by policies and law. So make sure to read through these. When you're working on, but for the assignment, that's what I'm going to go into detail here for you. You're going to write a letter to an elected official and a real official. So I'll show you how to find out who to write to, that your senator, your representative, or even the governor of Virginia, for example. But so in this reading, this link, you will want to read through this. But why do we really want to write elected officials? Right now is a good example. So if you don't agree with something that's going on, or I'm part of the Virginia Public Health Association board, and we're writing a letter to the governor. We're using a lot of APHA language to stay consistent, but making recommendations and also sharing our support for what he's doing in terms of some of the social distancing or stay at home type regulations to get this virus under control. So that letter is really used to educate our legislators. They can't be informed of everything that's going on. So it takes people, public health professionals, to educate them. So in the past, before email, it was very typical to do a letter, sometimes phone call. And letters are really great to get their attention. It does not happen as often. People will do email. But when you create an email, so in your letter, it's the same type of professionalism that you would have in a letter. And so there's many different reasons here why, but we need to educate them. If they oppose a law that is going to affect health equity or health disparities, for example, these populations in particular need an advocate, which you probably talked a lot about in social aspects of health. So educating them about the issues is really, really important. Thanking them, so that's what we're kind of doing with BPHA as well. Or if they took action that you didn't agree with, that it's an opportunity for you to show, to share your opposition towards that, asking help or support, those types of things. So what, you're going to read through all this, so I'm not going through this step by step in order to also make this video a little shorter, but make sure you read this. Your quiz will cover all 3 of these readings, including this site. But down here is going to help you on how to actually write your letter and what to include. So make sure to go through this. So you want to that make sure that you are doing it professionally, you are titling it correctly with the official's name, you're starting off with the purpose for your letter, you're summarizing your understanding of the issue, explaining their position, describing any changes that would actually mean to you and others. And so you typically also write the legislator, the senator, the representative that's in your district based on where you live. So a lot of times, you know, you want to be talking about the people that are directly affected in that area of that representative is serving. And if you know of any past support they've given, it's really good to acknowledge it. And so the more that you're aware of what that legislator representative is in support of or in favor of, that you can, you know, that you show you're knowledgeable of their stance on items is really good as well. So it's got, you know, how to ask for help and closing it. So definitely use this to help with the formation of your letter. The other thing that I'm going to pop back on here and in your reading, so really use your readings for this assignment, but on the how to influence the policy process reading, there's a making a policy case. And this is also really important. So, you know, we don't get as often, we don't get the chances to always speak to the representatives in person, but if you do, this is really good resource for that and making sure that you create claims and you have grounds for that. So you want to make sure this is evidence-based. You're going to pick a topic that you're passionate about, or maybe something that's going on with currently with COVID-19 and where you're at locally, you know, so you'll have some leeway on the topic, but make sure it's evidence-based and use these resources. The other thing that will help, there are examples of policy letters here, again, from the Community Toolbox, great resource for you to see examples. And then I'll get back out of here. And then links and resources. These, so you've got the examples, but then who's my legislator? You can click on here and find out, you'll put in your address. I'm just going to stick in Lynchburg, Virginia here just to show you what comes up. So you can put in your specific address and find out who. Some are going to have emails and ready for you. Others are not. But when you go in, so if we want to check out Ben Klein, for example, so he's a Republican, District 6. You can find out the committees he's on and what he's in favor of. We don't have his email here, so how are we going to get his email if you want to email him? So you did see that he has an address if you wanted to write specifically a hard copy letter. Otherwise, you can go into finding, using one of these resources in terms of House of Representatives or the U.S. Senate, and go through that route and find, oftentimes, for example, Ben Klein has his own website. You can Google that and contact him through that, or find an email through that. Because I do want you to include the contact information for the legislator that you are going to be contacting. So if by email, then you need to include the email for that. So the federal government's legislative branch consists of the Congress with 2 chambers. That's where you have the House of Representatives and the senators. We need to educate both sides for that. So, you know, again, deciding on who you want to write is up to you, but picking someone that is knowledgeable or not knowledgeable about a topic so you can educate them. So put together your letter and submit that here by 11:59 or midnight on next Wednesday. Remember to take the quiz, view this video, and the quiz will cover all of these readings, some really good readings for you, and be working on your personal branding project. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know.